Guys, Magic Spoon is cereal reinvented. This is my family's favorite breakfast, and we're never going back to regular cereal. Our favorite combo is to mix the cocoa with the peanut butter flavors to make the ultimate peanut butter cup collaboration with 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, and 4 to 5 net grams of carbs in each serving. This high-quality cereal is fueling reimagined. Start your new year off right with Magic Spoon. Use my code Chael for $5 off your very own variety box and choose from Magic Spoon's best-selling flavors like cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, cookies and cream, and maple waffle, plus other awesome flavors, including blueberry muffin and cinnamon roll. Magic Spoon is so confident in this product, they back it with a 100% happiness guarantee, which means if you don't like it for any reason, they will refund your money, no questions asked. Click on the link below. Use the code Chael to save $5 off your order today. Also, for my Canadian and British fans, Magic Spoon now ships to Canada and the UK. Thiago Santos called out Jake Paul. Asked the PFL straight up, can I welcome him? Now, first off, I thought Thiago was signed with the UFC. I could be missing something there. But he was very funny when he did it too. You guys remember? When Moicano wins that last fight and he starts cutting an interview and he's just screaming, but he keeps on saying Moicano? He is Moicano, but he kept saying Moicano. Remember how funny that was when he's like, Moicano was eating steaks. Moicano was drinking beers. Moicano was not in shape. Moicano wants money. Like, you remember when he did this? It was awesome. It was weird, but it was passionate. It was funny while very, very serious to him, right? It was awesome. Well, that's something that Santos stole, though. He even said that. He said, just like Moicano, Santos wants money. All right? I mean, there was something on it. Now, that fight isn't going to happen. That isn't the point. 4 days ago, Ben Askren made a statement. He said, I'm actually knee-deep in a contract with the UFC. If you could get me out of it, I'd go to the PFL. I would do that fight. Tyron Woodley has spoke up in some fashion, realizing it was probably unlikely. And I don't know if Anderson Silva has actually gone public or if I was told that privately by Ed Soros, if I'm like combining stories here. And I could well be doing that. I don't need to be accurate. I just need to paint for you off the top of my little beady mind. I got 4 names. And Nate Diaz is more than willing to do it, just trying to work out some numbers. So Jake Paul, again, we're going off the top of my head here, but I'm pretty good at this. I'm pretty close. Jake Paul announced he was coming into this sport 5 days ago, and I just produced 5 names for you off the top of my head that have said that they would like to do the fight. And that spans over a bunch of different weight classes. I mean, I got 205-pounders I threw in there. 170-pounders I threw in there. But what a different experience that is for Jake compared to all the years he did in boxing. We don't have 5 guys in total that have called him out in boxing. In total. Tyron Woodley fought him in boxing. Tyron didn't call him out. Anderson Silva fought him in boxing. He didn't call him out. The boxing guys don't want to do the match. The MMA guys want to do the match. The boxing community doesn't seem to be completely open. That is changing, I will admit. The WBA brought him out and even tried to give him a belt. I do admit that is changing. They have brought him, Eddie Hearn has brought him to events just to commentate. It is changing within that community after he defeated Anderson Silva. I'm just sharing with you, MMA has these open arms. MMA's got a roster full of guys. You might go and beat them up. They'll show up. Their egos aren't like that. Maybe you can beat me. Maybe you can't. Let's fight. It's a very different attitude. And quite frankly, it's the one that Jake's used to. People forget that Jake grew up as a wrestler in Ohio, and even the people that know he grew up as a wrestler in Ohio don't know quite how competitive Ohio is. Not to mention when you have a brother in the house and he is also a wrestler in Ohio. I mean, like, those two things will separate you. If you have take the Ohio part out of it. If you have an older brother and you both wrestle, right there, you are now separated into a different group. Just the way it works. Then you take the Ohio, then you take the fact that they were both All-State, then you take the fact that they were very competitive. I mean, it really is an interesting thing, but that is what Jake would be used to. Jake didn't get to throw anything around back then or dangle anything. Guys would step up and show up anytime. Somebody in the bracket room does that whole thing. They call an announcement. They play it out. I mean, I'm just sharing for you. This is more what Jake is used to, and I think that he's going to be more comfortable in this. And I think maybe he forgot. I think maybe Jake forgot what it's like to be in a competitive field where people are willing to go out there and compete. The end. Let me stop you right there. And now he's going to have options, right? Errol Hawani was doing a piece on this. Not about an hour ago. And Errol was so impressed with the level of production and the way that Jake came off in the monologue spot he did as the reveal that he is now in the PFL. And I agree with Ariel. They pulled that off completely, but Jake told a story, and he only had a couple of minutes to do it. He told a complete story. He let the audience know what he was doing, why, and how. It was really quite impressive, but Ariel went in a direction that I wasn't expecting, and he was saying, hey, look, Jake, in addition to being a competitor, in addition to the financial element that he's got in the pay-per-view, which was released within the statement, I'm going to trust that you guys at least have an idea of what I'm talking about. He said, this needs to be the face. Ariel just said, look, in those 5 minutes, Jake told us more about the PFL than anybody else has. It's a very fair statement. Jake does command media. Jake can go head-to-head on a microphone in a room full of ideas better than most. Ariel's correct. That's very exciting, potentially. I personally would enjoy that. If I could count on Jake Paul to have a press conference roughly once a week, for sure, twice a month, that would be a cool thing. I must admit. I would watch those. I would get something from those. I would come back and I would tell you guys about them. Now, whether they go that direction or not, the business side of Jake is there, but that's not what he wants yet. And you got to make that choice, right? I mean, you've seen how hard that is for Brady. It is very hard to let go of that competitive side. And that really is who Jake is. Jake wants to compete, and now he's found himself in a sport where guys want to compete with him, and they're willing to compete with him. And Jake has still got this boxing thing going. He's even said, man, I'm going to box, and then I'm going to do MMA, and they're going to be separated by 6 months, which means his debut in the PFL, that we could really be kicking the can on that, but maybe not. All ideas have to start somewhere. I'm not sure that you guys can't go out and change his mind. I think he might be looking at this wrong. He's got one opponent that's even discussing boxing him. And that's the Fleury kid, and that is a mistake to the highest levels. He would be better, cut the budget, do it a little bit quicker, and go out there with the rumors of Platinum Perry. He would be better than going in there with fumbles. And better yet would be, let's put a pin in the boxing thing. Let's go where you're welcome. Let's go where you're used to. Guys that really will compete. Let's build a fire and let's get this MMA thing on. That's what I think. But what I know is Jake is opening to hearing from you. So now's the time to speak up.